Hi BookTube and welcome to a new video. So about 10 days ago I posted a literary quiz on my BookTube channel and today I'm going to provide the answers. Now if you haven't had a look at the quiz and you want to do it, I'm just going to give you pause to stop watching this, go into the show notes, there'll be a link to the quiz. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. On with the show. So I'm going to provide the answers to 35 questions. So the first one was published in the UK in 2018. The Guy Who Makes the Belfast Doorstop Deliveries. And that was Milkman by Anna Burns. Possibly my most successful BookTube video to date. I've had 6,000 views of my review of this. So, question 2, published in the US in 2017, POTUS 16's Buddhist Soul Searching. POTUS 16's Buddhist Soul Searching, which was George Saunders, Lincoln in the Bardo, which is very good, but I think owes a little bit of a debt to the works of David Markson for how it uses real life newspaper reports, although there are some here I'm sure are made up as well. Question 3, published in the US in 2011, Disposition of Ore. Disposition of Ore. I think this is one of the harder ones in the early rounds because I think you have to know this book. And Patchett, State of Wonder, The Disposition of Ore. 4, from the UK in 1928 it was published, A Biography of Disney World. A Biography of Disney World. Now I don't have this, I don't own it, so here it is. It is Virginia Woolf's Orlando, because Orlando is the city in which Disney World, as against Disneyland, which is in Anaheim. Disney World, so Orlando, but a bit of lateral thinking on that one. 5, published in Mexico in 2017, Salt and Pepper Tropical Storm. Salt and Pepper Tropical Storm was Hurricane Season by Fernando Melchior. One of my least favourite books, and interestingly has had a lot of support for my criticism of, or my critical review on Goodreads. I've had a lot of upticks on that. 6, published in the US in 2020, Between Soho and the Theatreland of the Mind. Between Soho and the Theatreland of the Mind. And that was the very wonderful Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu. I realised after I posted, of course, that you have to know London to realise that London's Chinatown stretches between Soho and Theatreland, which is sort of Shaftesbury Avenue area of London. So apologies for that if you're not familiar with London geography. Hey, I'm an amateur at this quiz game. 7, published in the US in 1993, A Fistful of Chaste Self-Immolators. A Fistful of Chaste Self-Immolators. And that was Jeffrey Eugenides' first published novel, The Virgin Suicides. And on to number 9, published in the UK in 2006, Constantinople's Illegitimacy. Constantinople's Illegitimacy was The Bastard of Istanbul by Elif Shafak. I haven't read this yet. I hope to get to it this year. That was actually number 9. Sorry, I've missed out number 8. Duh. Number 8 was published in South Africa in 2003. It is Elvis's South African Aunt. Elvis's South African Aunt, not Elvis Presley, but Elvis Costello, the far superior Elvis as far as I'm concerned. So this is Elizabeth Costello by the South African author J.M. Coetzee. 10, published in the US in 2020, Meteorology. Meteorology, a one-word clue, Weather by Jenny Ophel. Number 11, published in the UK in 1995, Planetary Girdles Made of Ice and Rock. Planetary Girdles Made of Ice and Rock. W.G. Seybold, The Rings of Saturn. What a wonderful read that is. I'm looking forward to reading his Austerlitz later this year in a buddy read with Brian at Bookish and Courtney Ferreter. 12. Published in Australia in 2018. Juvenile consumes all the Milky Ways in existence. Juvenile consumes all the Milky Ways in existence. That is Trent Dalton's Boy Swallows Universe. The pun being on Milky Ways, the chocolate bar. 13. Published in the US in 2020. Residential Foliage. Mark Danielewski's House of Leaves. 14. Published in the UK and Ireland in 2016. Subjacent Neighbours of the Moravians. Well, the former Czechoslovakia was made up of 3 kingdoms, of which Bohemia and Moravia were 2 and Slovakia was the 3rd. So the subjacent neighbours of the Moravians is the Lesser Bohemians. Definitely a bit of lateral thinking on that by Imea McBride, her second novel. 15. Published in Japan in 1994. Copper Mnemonics, and that is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. Copper as in police, not as in the metal copper. 16. Published in the UK in 2020. Thomas More's Home Address. Well, Thomas More wrote the book called Utopia, so this is Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell. Not a great book in my estimation, and I'm rather done with David Mitchell, having read everything he's published in fiction to this date, but this is definitely the last one for me. There's definitely been diminishing returns on his more recent books. 18. Chile, published 2014. Answer A, B, C or D. Answer A, B, C or D. But you go, but what's the question? That is the question, answer A, B, C or D, because it is, of course, Alejandro Zambra, multiple choice. What a wonderful little read this is. I think I've gone out of order again. Yes, I've missed out 17. I do apologise for this. I have to keep sort of turning in 3 different directions. So the one I missed out, 17, published in the UK in 2020. This is A Lexicon for a Perjurer. And that was Ellie Williams's The Liar's Dictionary, which neither Sean the Book Maniac nor I liked. Okay, so let's try and get back on schedule. 19, published in the US in 1996. This is The Joke's on You in Perpetuity. And that is David Foster Wallace's The Infinite Jest. I don't know if you can see that. That's my bookmark. That's how far I've reached. So I probably will be in perpetuity trying to read this damn thing. Although Zena at Beating Around the Books and I are buddy reading this to the bitter end later in this year. That's the plan anyway. Number 20, published in the UK in 1962. I don't own this, and it is. The clue is 25 Carat Moleskin. 25 Carat Moleskin. And that is Doris Lessing's The Golden Notebook, which I think is Elizabeth Everett Bookish's North favourite novel. I've not read it, I have to say. Maybe that's something I need to address. 21, published in the UK in 2020. Petty Abrasion. And that was the delightful Rebecca Watson debut called Little Scratch, or debut novel I should say. And it's delightful not for its content, which is quite dark, but for its sort of form and style. 22, published in the US in 1992. Second Generation Divine Offspring. Jesus' Son by Dennis Johnson, a collection of short stories. On to 23, published in France in 2015. The Septimal Faculty of French or Latin or English or Danish. Septimal faculty of French, of English, or Latin, or Danish. Quite a tricky one, I think, that. Septimal being seventh, the seventh function of language, by Laurent Binet. 24, published in Palestine, although I doubt it actually was in Palestine. It probably had to be first published abroad in Europe. In 2017, a lesser minutiae. A lesser minutiae. And that is Adania Shibley's Minor Detail. I really recommend that as a read if you're at all interested in the Middle East sort of situation. On to 25, UK/India 2019, Beautiful Corpses. That's Beautiful Corpses. And that is Meena Kandasani's Exquisite Cadavers. A really interesting book. I mean, flawed, I think, but I think it was a very brave, I don't mean morally brave, I mean stylistically brave book. So I really got, even though I didn't sort of particularly like it or get on with it, it sort of prompted a heck of a lot of thought in me, and I think I had about a half-hour video dedicated to this, and it's only a short book, as you can see. Yeah, it's about 100 pages, but lots of food for thought. So, you know, I do sort of recommend it sort of reservedly. 26, Mexico/US 2013, First Person Chronicle of Dentition. First Person Chronicle of Dentition. And that was Valeria Luiselli, The Story of My Teeth, which was published originally in Spanish, and it was only The Lost Children Archive was her first book that she actually wrote in English first. On to 27, published in America in 2011, Sending the Boys Round. Sending the Boys Round. And that is A Visit for the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. '28, published in France in 2018, Nocturnal Sanguinary Shade. Nocturnal Sanguinary Shade. And that was the Booker International Prize winner, At Night, All Blood is Black by David Diop. Very good it is too. On to number 29, published in America in 2020, Octogranary. Octogranary. And that is Deb Olin Unferth's Barn 8. What a great fun little read this was. Highly enjoyable. I don't think it's saying anything major, but it is a good read. On to number 30, another book I don't actually own, published in the UK and Ireland in 2020, Sidereal Toe. That's T-O-W, not T-O-E. Sidereal Toe. And that is Emma Donohue's The Pull of the Stars. 31, and I think these last five are quite sort of tricky. Published in the UK in 2015, Completely Surrounded by a Sea of Glossy Fabric. Completely Surrounded by a Sea of Glossy Fabric. And that is Tom McCarthy's Satin Island. 32, published in the UK in 2020, this is a debut novel. This is Einstein's Devoted Method. Einstein's Devoted Method. And that is Love and Other Thought Experiments by Sophie Ward. So Einstein conducted what he called thought experiments, which are Gedankenexperimente in German. And it literally translate to thought experiments. So devotion as in love. I did originally have this in German from Google Translate. Zena, who is a German speaker, pointed out that Google Translate's rendition is inaccurate, as it always is, so I actually changed the clue before I posted the original video. But it was going to be something like Liebe und andere Gedankenexperimente. Anyway, you don't really need to know that. Question 33, published in the US in 2020. Don DeLillo's latest book, The Silence. And published in Germany in 2015. The three of them are no longer here, though you might still catch the last one. The three of them are no longer here, though you might still catch the last one. I think this is a very tricky one. This is Jenny Erpenbeck's Go, Went, Gone. And finally, a book I don't have, so fortunately in order to read it out I can read it direct from the screen in front of me. This was published in the US in 2012. Shady Man's Nichthemeron Tome Boutique. Shady Man's Nichthemeron Tome Boutique. So just breaking that down, Shady Man is Mr. Penumbra, Nichthemeron means 24 hours, Tome book, boutique shop. So that's Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookshop. So thanks to all those who played along. If you find any of those incomprehensible even after I've given the answers, please do put it in the comments and I'll try and explain my rather faulty logic as to how I got to them through the word choices. And on a completely unrelated theme, one of my sons is studying a master's at Sussex University to train as a clinical psychologist within the NHS, where he would ultimately like to work. And for his dissertation, he has to draw up a questionnaire which is checked for sort of ethics in order to be able to analyse the data, and that sort of forms his dissertation, or the heart of his dissertation. And he's chosen to do one on social media. And therefore I'm putting out a call on his behalf. If anyone fancies doing a 20-minute questionnaire, which is completely anonymous, through the offices of Sussex University, you'll see the address in the URL that it says Sussex University. As I say, it's completely anonymous, and you can win, one person wins a £25 Amazon voucher. Then please, I will provide the link in the show notes. Please go ahead and do it. The way it works is it's questions, it's 20 minutes long. The first 10 minutes is questions, and then it's recommended you go and use social media, whichever platform you prefer, Facebook, Goodreads, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it is, for 10 minutes, and then come back and do the second half of the questions. So if you'd be interested in that, as I say, it's no big deal. I shall leave the link and you click on it and just follow the instructions. So, there you have it. Thanks very much for playing along. I hope you didn't find some of those clues just sort of too out to lunch. And if you did, then please, as I say, come back and take me up on it. Okay, till next time. Thanks very much.